Good morning, guys. Welcome to Working Horses with Jim. Today we have a very wet day. I was able to exercise the horses for a little while this morning until I got kind of wet, and they did too. As you can see, it's really raining and we have quite a pond even right there. So today it looks like it's going to be a sawmill day. Yesterday I was able to get this bunk fixed. It was broken, and these bunks that I have on my wagons, the bunk irons, this piece here that holds the stake, they are made in different ways, and this is the one I like the most, where the plate of steel is on top. And so that's what we did here. This particular one used to have the plate of steel. There's one on both sides, top and bottom now, but it used to be on the sides. And what would happen is those bolts would go through the side, and then when a log came off and fell off the wagon, it would hit the top of that stake and put a lot of pressure on it and actually break it so that it would be cracked right through there. This way it supports it way better and it lasts a lot longer. So I really like this way of making the bunks, and so this wagon is done and ready to go back to work. So let's go down to the sawmill and I'll show you guys what we're going to be working on today. We have, as you can see, a lot of big, nice basswood logs. So we'll be cutting some of them. This morning I had a big pile to edge of pine and some tamarack, I think, a little bit of everything in this little pile here. So I got that done. We got a bundle of edgings out there I need to band up as soon as it stops raining. And get a little closer look here. As you can see, what we do is we carry the edgings off the boards out here and put them in that pile, and then we band it up and take that away when that's full, which is pretty well full right now. So today, with the rain, it's a good day to be in the barn, sawmill here, and sawn lumber. This might be the biggest basswood I have. These are logs that I cut this winter, and I showed a bunch of videos down there cutting these logs and skidding them out of the woods. And we actually were able to get the ends of them painted to help it from cracking quite so much. As you can see, it is cracking a little bit, but and they definitely tend to do that. After we saw them up into boards, we will take the boards and stack them up here along this wall probably. We had a whole bunch here last year. And then we'll probably repaint them if we need to, and that helps tremendously and it helps it to stop the cracking. There's still some cracking right here. The piece is cracked, and there will be some, but the paint on the ends really help to keep it from cracking too much. So I will get started here. First thing I have to do is right here where my slabs go, I have to put some banding down so that I can band the pile of slabs after it's on there in full. Whenever I can, I like to utilize what I already have. So here I'm taking banding material that's already been used on bundles of slabs, and we just use them again. And sometimes we can use them 2 or 3 times before they finally wear out. The other day I could hear some squeaking from my alternator belt, and I heard it again this morning, so I decided I better take the time to fix that. So I grabbed some wrenches and tightened the belt up so it's working the way it's supposed to work.
Jim was out looking for Baron and Belle this morning because they were not down here with Libby. But I see that they're together now. Jim looks like he's out checking the fence. But all seems well. Good morning, girls. Can't believe you're not up yet. Usually as soon as I open the door, they come flying out. They'll probably follow me after I get out of their way. Lynette has finally stopped laying on the nest. She's out and eating and laying eggs again. And I'm glad to see it. She was in such a state of perturbedness all the time. She just was a mess, but I love seeing her around. She's so pretty. getting a little snack. I've been feeding the pigs zucchini and summer squash that gets overgrown. It helps the plants keep producing when I keep picking off the big things. We can't eat it all. And pigs love it. I gave them their grain this morning. They really couldn't care less. And then I threw these summer squash in here, and they just went right to eat. They just love them so much. Really quite a bunch of pigs. Sadly, next week, this big gal is going to be butchered. I will miss her. I have refrained from calling her a name. It helps me to not be too sad when she's gone. And I'm trying to give her the best life that she can have while she's here. And it's just a way it is here on the farm. I try not to get too attached. It's just too hard. I'm brushing Earl this morning, and the other side was fine. And then I come on this side and got a little surprised that he is just covered with dirt from our storm yesterday. He must have gone out and rolled. Oh, that's Earl for you. He's a roller. He's a roller. He never cares whether he's dirty or clean, this boy. It's funny how different they all are. I still got work to do on his face, but after being brushed and curried, still the residue remains a little bit. The other day we were in the same situation, and Jim asked me if I had brushed him because he could still see the marks of the harness on him, but sometimes it's just hard to get it all out. Earl, you've got to stop being such a roller. You're so cute. Okay, guys, I'm in what we call the cow barn because we used to milk cows in here, and now we have lumber. I know it's very dark. You may not be able to see, but over here in the corner in a cubby hole is one of the older chickens that gets to roam free. And she's found a nest over here. The other day, I finally found this nest, and there was like a dozen eggs in here. And I figured she wouldn't come back here. But here she is laying eggs. I will leave her undisturbed, but I have pretty much come to the conclusion that I am not going to let the next batch of chickens out. It's too hard to find the eggs, and they go rogue like that, and you can't. We have too many places to look for eggs, and what's the point of having the chickens? Well, I do love seeing them walk around. That's the problem. But we can't get as many eggs out of them because I can't find them half the time. It's very frustrating. So probably our other ones will be staying in, and I'll show you them in a minute because we have some exciting news. Okay, I'm here with my young friends. They're right at the door here in their hen house. I haven't opened it up yet, but the exciting news is that, well, I think it's really twofold. One is that every single one of them is laying eggs. All of a sudden, they started laying eggs, and I didn't expect them this early. So yesterday we got 5 eggs. And the other news is that all of a sudden, they just let me touch them. They come running over. I pick them up. They don't love that, but there's a few of them that actually do like it, I think. My trouble is I can't tell them apart because Well, this one has a floppy comb, but other than that, they look so much alike to me. I have a hard time with it. So I'll probably figure out what to name this gal unless they all start flopping. But I'm really having fun with these chickens. I'm so happy they're doing so well. I've been feeding them stuff from the garden, and they seem to enjoy that as well. Gotta open the door. It's raining again, but that's okay. It'll stop, and everything is growing so amazingly. This is the field Jim cut not too long ago. This is where the chicken thing was last, but he cut this field not too long ago, but boy, it's lush. It looks wonderful. And so that is really great how things are growing, even though it's really wet. But it'll dry out. I'm so thankful for it. It's really great. And yeah, I better close that door quick because they'll soon want to get out. Turned into a muddy mess. Jim just moved it day before yesterday. And now we got all that rain. And just a little bit of walking around with our little feet has made such a difference. And here they come, checking out what's going on today. Every once in a while they do escape, but they're pretty easy to catch. And they don't go too far away.
Good morning. Yes, it is the next day. So yesterday afternoon, I went to the woods after I did a little sawing in the morning. And oh my goodness, I just got hammered with the rain. I bet I stood underneath the tree and then ran and jumped in the skid steer for a good half an hour before the rain finally stopped. I was able to get my wagon load of logs out. I wish I had brought my camera and taken video of all that foolishness because I really got soaked. But anyways, got home last night and I realized that as I was walking by my trailer, I could hear a hissing noise, and so I could hear a hissing noise. And look here, we have a screw I must have drove over on this trailer tire, and that's not good. So believe it or not, it was hissing pretty good, but the tire is still as hard as can be. It's almost like it sealed itself back up. But anyways, I had to take the tire off, and I did eventually get it off, but my goodness, didn't I have some troubles with that tire. So what had happened is, so this was the cover to cover everything up. So you'd think it'd be less rust and less problems with those lug nuts. But I'm telling you, I had a terrible time getting them lug nuts off this. And if I was in the roadside somewhere, I don't know how I ever would have done it. I had my small battery impact wrench and I couldn't even touch it. Wouldn't even begin to get it out. So I went and got my breaker bar, and with this nice long pipe that I have that a friend of mine gave me, I was able to break them free. But I still, after they were free, I still couldn't get them with my small impact wrench. So I went and got my plug-in impact wrench. Which is right there. And I got my jackery, which I had shown on a sponsored video a while back. And that worked so good to be able to use that heavy duty impact wrench, but I still could not even break them free with that impact wrench. I had to use the breaker bar to get that free, and then we were able to get it off. I put the penetrating fluid to it, and even with that, it gave me little troubles, but I have put the penetrating fluid to the threads, and hopefully when I get the tire back, it'll go on all right. This tire over here did not have that cover on it to protect the threads and all, so I put the penetrating fluid to that also just to help keep the rust down. Anyways, that's what's going on here, and we'll share a little bit more about our day today. My lines are kind of stiff, working in the rain so much. Okay, kept up. Well guys, it's not supposed to rain today, just be kind of cloudy, but it was sprinkling a few minutes ago, so who knows. Seems like when we get in a rainy schedule type of thing, it just keeps right on raining. It just don't want to stop. And then if you get in a droughty cycle, it just does not want to rain. But anyways, we're gonna hitch onto this stone boat, give these boys and girls a little bit of exercise. Ha, lady. Ha, ha. Cuffs down. Ha, ha, ha. Ho. So the way I do this is they do tend to want to get going when I'm working them on the stone boat, partially because it's a heavy load and partially because it kind of reminds them of horse pulling, which is not a bad thing. Oh, just have to kind of be prepared for it. So I always unhitch my evener from the sled so that they're not hitched to it, and I get the chains hitched up and then I hitch them onto the sled. Oh, bye. They don't always stand perfectly in this situation, but they're usually pretty good. So now we'll get hitched on. Ooh. Ooh. That cuffs up. I wish there were more horse pulls out there that you had to hitch your own evener. I think that would be rather enjoyable to do. You'd have to have horses that are a little bit calmer. And maybe even better controlled than so many horses that are in the pulling fields nowadays. They're pretty hyper sometimes, and mine get that way sometimes too. But if I was to hitch evener by myself at a horse pull, I'd have to kind of work accordingly and maybe not give them so much grain or whatever. So as you can see, we got a lot of water here, and this heavy stone boat will actually almost hydroplane even in this water. And but it still works pretty good to give them some exercise. I have these kind of holes where the stone boat has dug out. This is the worst one right here, and it's a pretty good, careful, hole. They got to pull it up and out over, and of course that pulls hard. This stone boat right here probably weighs between 3,000 and 3,500 pounds, if you guys are wondering. And when it's wet like this, it definitely pulls easier than when it's dry. So that's why this morning it's going pretty good. I will probably take these two around this loop 3 times and then tie them to the truck body. And I usually would go non-stop those 3 times. Oh, I'm going to stop them here. They weren't expecting to be stopped, that's for sure. But I want to show you guys something. They'll stand fine here. I want to show you a project I need to be working on right off. It's been a project I've needed to be working on right off for several years now. But anyways, this opening here of my sawmill, there's several things I'm thinking about actually. I'm thinking about putting a roof over this section here and closing this off. Years ago, I had a big payloader that would not have been able to get inside if I had the roof on. That's why I chose not to put the roof here. But if I choose to put a roof here, or even if I don't, I need to fix this. This is a big 8x8 beam I put in here years ago and it cracked really bad. So I ran a bunch of 2x8s or maybe the 2x10s. I got 3 of them, two or three, I guess. 3 on one side and 2 on the other. One of them has fallen down. So anyways, I gotta jack this roof up and replace this whole opening. Now this opening is either 18 or 20 feet wide. 20 feet is as long as I need to come into this building with a log. And I can always kind of work my way through an 18-foot opening for a 20-foot log. But I got to get this fixed. And I surely, if I want to put rafters out here and extend this roof, I surely have to have a really, really, really good beam there. So my idea is to go try to find a nice 18 or 20-foot log out of hemlock, big enough for 2x12s. So my plan is to take 3 2x12s and sandwich them together, of course, and make a good beam. By doing the 2x12s as opposed to a 12x6 beam, any knots that are in those pieces will be spread apart, so it should be actually make a stronger beam than an actual solid beam. But anyways, that's what I'm planning on doing, and hopefully in the next few weeks we can get this tackled on this and get this job done so that I'd have the option of running rafters and making a roof over here if I was to do that at some point. So anyways, that's just a project I wanted to share with you guys. It's kind of another rainy morning and we're just exercising horses, so I thought I could show you that at least. And we have not even shown the horses yet in this video, so we wanted to at least show the horses being exercised.
Since this is working horses with Jim.
Yes. So I work all combinations. I put Lady and Duke together some, Bill and Earl together some, but I'm going to be pulling these two at a few fairs here right off. I'm not going to be doing videos of all my horse pulling fairs, but some of them I'll try to. Careful. Careful. We'll go around one more time. Careful, careful, lady. Careful. We'll go around one more time here. As you notice, when I started talking, we're in the spot where we stop sometimes, so lady was more than willing to stop. I don't know if you're hearing all the noises I am, and I'm hoping my voice is coming through, but it's surprising how noisy this stone boat is when we go over rocks and whatnot. But I'm going to stop up here once just so I can talk to you with a little bit of peace and quiet. Oh. I don't know if we caught that, but when I told him to stop, this stone boat actually slid on its own. It's it's a pretty good load to be going around non-stop with, which is what I do. But I don't know if it's good or bad. Let me hear what you guys' thoughts on. So as I'm going through these wet holes, you can tell it just pulls so easy. I mean, it actually slid right there before it came to a stop. And ho. And the fact that So I don't know if it's really good to be doing it this way, but maybe it teaches them the fact that it's not always the same consistent load as we go along, because that's the way it works sometimes.
Why don't you I was filming them, so I missed it.
That's what?
It's floating.
Oh.
I mean, I have.
Well, see if it does it again. Cast up. Didn't do it there.
You're going uphill.
I'm going uphill.
Here's another one. If you stop, well, no, they're all uphill.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that one there. I cast up. It happened right there. And I was very careful because this can be a very dangerous thing for horses because, for one, my heel chains are quite long. If I was pulling a heavier load, I'd shorten the heel chains up so we could have more lift. But because of this situation, it's good that they're that long. But also, I had the horses stop while they were on the upper part of the thing so you could see it slide. But if you're in a situation where you're doing something like this, there's a very good potential that that stone boat will actually slide and run into their heels. So that's something you got to really be careful of. At any time, pulling any load without a tongue, without a pole, between the horses to stop whatever it is behind you. Always, always be cautious and be concerned about the fact that if you're not if you're not hitched to a pole, there's always the potential of whatever is behind you sliding up and hitting them in the heels. So anyways, these stops even right here where it's got to pull up pretty good hill and then it goes back down again. It's just a bit of a challenge for horses, but it's a good challenge. I careful step. Okay guys, so I'll be doing this a few more times. As you can see, they're breathing pretty hard, but just within a matter of minutes, their breathing is right back down to normal. Even as we talk here, they'll get pretty good. I don't like to have them stand right here in this mud puddle, but it's just the way it is. So sometimes you just have to live with some things that aren't quite the way you want it. But
it's just temporary, it'll be gone shortly.
It goes pretty fast. With the tiling that we had put in here last fall, it drains, that water hole drains out pretty fast. But my goodness, we got a lot of rain yesterday. I don't know what we did get. So anyways, I have got to go and run that tire up to the garage and get that fixed. And yeah, we are looking for a day that's not supposed to be quite so rainy. And I can live with that. Like I said yesterday, I got just completely drenched. And my lines, I used Lady and Duke in the woods yesterday afternoon, and my Lady's line is very wet and kind of stiff from all the rain. But even Bill, he's been spending a lot of time the last few days out here standing and resting while I'm in the dry sawmill while it's raining. So his harness and his lines got kind of wet too. And also I'm most concerned with the collars, because that's pretty well, the lines and the collars are the only thing that'll leather. Everything else is bio, and bio can take the rain, no problem at all. But anyways, that's what we're doing, and I hope you guys enjoyed this short little video. Just come here, Brenda. They've pretty well got their breath. They're hardly breathing hard at all now. I'm really pleased with Lady. She's kind of starting to get back to her old self. So that's why I'm curious to see how these do pulling together again. They are in pretty good shape, so I'm pleased with that. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll definitely show you some of our horse pulling videos. So you guys have a great day. We'll see you next time.